This is really hard. Um, this is really hard. So I'm just gonna say this: we have people coming over. There's a lot of people here. If you were friends with Reckful and you were in the Austin area, please message me and you can come over. We're having a lot of people here, uh, just to hang out, tacos, whatever. So I'm just gonna say this shit and then I'm getting off. I don't want to be here for long. I don't really think I could play Minecraft right now, and yeah. Okay. So I wrote out a little bit just to make sure that I can keep my thoughts straight because it's gonna be hard. This is definitely not something easy that neither me nor anyone else is gonna go through. Uh, okay. This morning I woke up to dozens of phone calls and messages, and typically I think that's just Synac trying to call me and bother me about something like a sponsor. But one call I was like, it was Poke, and I I answered and Poke was frantic on the phone. I didn't know what was wrong, but he kept telling me to look at Reckful's tweets and something must be up. I looked at Reckful's tweets and I called him immediately. It's the first thing I did is I called Reckful. He did not answer. He didn't respond. Slick called Reckful. He didn't respond. And with no answer, I got out of my bed with no socks, no shirt, typical Italian style, and we drove to Reckful's as fast as we could. I showed up to Reckful's and we already had a big feeling of what happened. And I get a call from his ex-girlfriend Blue, who on the phone is having a massive panic attack. She doesn't know how to cope with it. She was alone in Arizona and she's by herself. She's talking to me about a world of feeling of guilt, of the world just crashing down on her, crying to me, telling me that there's nothing that she doesn't know what she could have done more. And I talked to her. I told her everything's going to be okay. And if she needs someone to talk to, please just call me. Slick and I arrive, but we arrive too late. I walk up to Reckful's place with Slick, and there are two cops standing there, and I see a body covered up with a tarp breezing in the wind, and only a few feet away are shoes that I know were Reckful's. Slick and I stopped, and we just stood there. We froze. We didn't know what to do. We were seeing someone you knew and there, just sitting there, sucked. Guilt started to rush, not only me but Slick. Feelings of what we could have done to help. But if anyone knew Reckful personally, and not just based on social medias, or they would know that there's nothing. We tried everything. His friends tried everything. Byron was the most unique man I ever met in my life. And I would say that 100%. And one thing that I really thought of Reckful compared to others is he didn't give a fuck if you had 100,000 viewers or five. He wanted to know each person equally. He didn't judge you based on what you had. He judged you based on who you are. And I saw that multiple times whether it be through me, someone he barely even knew when I first met him. He didn't know live stream fails. He doesn't check that shit. He didn't really know who I was in the scene. And I saw it through Slick and Sinak. Usually when people meet someone like Sinak, they say, oh, you're just Mizkif's assistant. Oh, you're just Mizkif's guy. And the same thing goes to Slick. Reckful didn't do that. Reckful's one of the only people I've ever saw want to know who they are personally. And he got to know the names of Sinak. And he got to know the name of Slick. And he became friends with Slick. Close friends with Slick. Reckful was not just a friend, though. He was a pioneer of Twitch. He was, for a lot of us, when we think of the godfathers or the real OGs of Twitch, it's Reckful. It's Reckful. He created a lot. He made so much. He pioneered the way we stream, the way we think about streaming, and how we do streaming. He pioneered in us making this a job with the donation button. He did so much that so many people might not even know about. But one thing that Reckful did more than that I think he'll never know, is how much he was relatable. And I know a lot of people like to say that, streamers aren't your friend. I'm not your friend. But I'm telling you, if you watched Reckful back in the day, it felt like it. And you know what? That good feeling I had when I was alone and sad in college, and a lot of my friends or people in the world of Twitch were alone by themselves, and seeing someone like Reckful being one of the most successful gamers of all time, who's a multi-millionaire and has the success of, hundreds of thousands of people who loved him, seeing that he can also go through dark times and he's willing to express that, it made me feel like I'm not alone. It made us feel like we're not alone. And it made him feel like human. Reckful's World of Warcraft videos are some of the best videos I've ever seen on YouTube, period. And still to this day, I have chills watching them. The feeling of watching someone who's mastered that game so well was inspiring and jaw-dropping. And seeing his gaming knowledge on not just World of Warcraft, but carrying it to multiple other games like Hearthstone and TFT is mind-blowing. But to let people know, from the day I met Reckful, the first DMs, when I first met him, he was suicidal. The first thing that ever came to me when I hung out with Reckful, time I ever hung out with him, I grabbed a lot of his old stuff, and then we started to hang out from there. I think this desk is Reckful's. I don't even remember. All of Slick's clothes are Reckful's. Slick's car is Reckful's. Reckful gave us a lot when me and E-Rob first moved in. He just gave it to us. He helped out. But from the day I met Reckful, he was suicidal and depressed. Every time I would hang out with Reckful, he would talk about being stuck inside his own head and how he wished he could escape forever. We went for coffee the first time we met. And when we went for coffee, one of the first memories I have of Reckful is him telling me, "You see that bus?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "If I didn't have shrooms right now, I would jump in front of it. Because that's how much I hate my life." He was trapped in his own head for years. For years and for years and for years, he was trapped in his own head. And he did not know how to escape. And to those who are feeling guilty, who feel like they wish they did more, You shouldn't. Reckful had loved ones. Reckful had very close friends to him who would constantly reach out to him. But the love and support that we tried to give him over the past few years was not enough. I have not spoken to Reckful in weeks. But those who have spoken to Reckful lately and who have been with him told me that he seemed happier. But as we all know, just because Reckful feels happy, he could do a 180. And this was one of those cases. To those on Twitter, livestream fails, and other social medias who believe they were the ones who pushed him over the edge, just know that Byron has been suicidal and depressed for years. From the day I met him to the last moments we had, he talked suicide, depression, and wanting to end it all. I do not believe that it was today's comments that put him over the edge, but a much larger reason that I will not go fully into unless the family feels that it's appropriate. And to those streamers and people on the internet that claimed that the friends could do more, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know the situation. You don't know what that he was being watched constantly, that he was being told to go to mental institutions or go to other places to seek help. You don't know the constant messages he was receiving. He constantly had people around him every day to check on him and make sure he was okay. Every day. He did this in the morning. Everyone was asleep. No one knew. And no one had a clue until it was too late. An example of this is my friend Mike. His dad was suicidal for a couple months. He lost his job. He was miserable. He hated his life. And my friend's dad wanted to kill himself. My friend Mike stayed with his dad every single day, watching him like a hawk, making sure that he's okay, trying to get him more help, bringing him to therapy, bringing him whatever he needed. But you can only do so much. And one night, my best friend Mike's dad, he left. He left the house, grabbed some Xanax, and went to a hotel and killed himself with rope. What Reckful needed wasn't more friends. And he definitely didn't need more money. So many are going to question what he felt every day. And I'm just going to tell you straight from the horse's mouth, from Reckful himself, that this is what he felt one night when I was with him at Kirby Lane. Reckful had severe depression over years, chat. Years, boys. Suicidal thoughts every day roamed his head in and out from his brother's passing. And Reckful didn't have self-acceptance and happiness within. And what masked the feeling of self-happiness was the happiness he received and the attention he got from Twitch and from being the best in the World of Warcraft. The best rogue ever. 3,000 rating. Those things are what made Reckful happy. And what Reckful has told me and many others is when WoW died, he died. It's hard. It's hard for all of us, chat. Reckful is there for us for a lot of things. He was there for us when we were low. He was a streamer like no other. He was a very unique streamer where he showed a side of himself that was crazy, that we don't get to see in streamers. Streamers don't show themselves the way Reckful did. Reckful wanted you guys to know what was going on in his life because he cared. And he wanted other people to be able to see what he was going through. It's tough, chat. We were there for him. Friends were there for him. But nobody knew. He's been like this for years. But you can all. What could we do? The internet sucks. There's a lot of things that suck about the internet, and I do feel that there are things that need to be done. Livestream fails and other communities shitting on him and shitting on others is disgusting. Things like this can happen. And pushing away others, whether if you did it, people like Greek, people like Ice. Ice does not deserve even a crumb of what he gets. Alinity, all these streamers that are pushed away for content, for entertainment. It's disgusting. I will always miss Reckful. I will always miss him. And to those, if it's crazy, chat. I was in his apartment today, and walking around there after the cops were there, just seeing it. It's like we were sitting there waiting for him to come home, as if nothing was wrong. We were just sitting there. His bed was made, or his bed looked like he just got out of bed. His life looked like he was just getting ready to go outside. As far as we know, there was no note. As far as we know, there was nothing. As far as we know, it was not planned. Reckful was, I say, one of the best streamers of all time. I think he's one of the best streamers of all time, and I'm not just saying that because of his death, but I do believe he was one of the greatest streamers of all time. And it's crazy to think that he's gone. It hasn't hit us fully. When I was sitting there in his apartment with everybody, it didn't hit us at all. It's not going to. It doesn't feel like he's gone. Looking over the balcony or looking over everything and just seeing everything. And just being in his room and seeing things that he loved. Just know he loved Twitch. He did love you guys. He did. You guys were there for him, and he did make you happy. And you made him happy. You did. But I don't want people... Some people are trying to claim that, some toxic Twitter people or some people from LSF are the reason why Reckful died. And I want them to know that you don't deserve that burden for the rest of your life. That you did not help the situation, but you were not the cause of his death. You were not the cause of his death. There was a lot more in his life than just some people on the internet shitting on him. There was a lot more going on behind the scenes that everybody around him was trying to help him with. I don't know what will happen with Everland. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen with this stuff. I have no idea what's going to happen with his apartment. I have no idea what's going to happen with anything. I feel terrible for the parents more than anything. I feel terrible for his parents to not only have to deal with one loss, but two. It's terrible. To this guy named Destructive 904 saying you should have done more. Listen, dude. What could I have done? What could we have done? How do we know? I'm sorry, man. What do you want me to say? There's not much. What could we have done? How do we know? We didn't. I would have sat there days with him if I knew. If anyone knew what was going to happen, chat, we would have sat there for days, and they did. They watched him like a hawk. They were there for him constantly, watching him, making sure that he was okay. But it just takes 1 second of someone looking away for him to do something that will destroy his life. 1 second. There's nothing that could have been done. He was watched. There was almost a dozen people in his apartment and around his apartment watching him and making sure he was okay. But it just takes 1 second, 1 split second of wanting to do it. And that's what happened today. He will be missed a lot. A lot. And one thing that I wish and I hope that Twitch can do is make him a global emote. Because I think that would be justified for how much he's done for the platform. I think that Twitch should do that. So he forever lives on in the platform. I think that would be fair. But that's not my say. I'm not trying to start a riot towards Twitch. I'm not trying to start a riot towards anybody, but just please, chat, understand that streamers are humans. We are humans. You know, maybe not XQC because that guy streams 12 hours a day, but everyone else is fucking human out there. All right? Your words hurt. As dumb as it might sound, your words hurt. It doesn't feel good to see the shit that we get. And maybe it'll stop you from clicking enter the next time you really feel that way. Read what you say before you say it. But just please, I know a lot of people on Twitter said some dumbass shit about him and made fun of him for doing what he's doing for proposing to Becca. You shouldn't. While you should feel guilt, you should feel stupid for doing it. Don't feel like you killed Reckful. Don't feel like you were the burden, that you were the thing that ended his life. It was much more than that. It was much more than that. And it's not something that I am appropriate to go into. Learn from it, chat. We learn from this situation. Whether it's to reform LSF or whether it's to reform in general. But what scares me is I know what's going to happen. I know that we're going to feel this way for a few days. The internet's going to go back to itself. And it's going to act like nothing ever happened. Because that's what happens every time. And I really hope that some people can live through this and learn. But I don't know if it's going to happen. I can hope. But I've hoped many times over and it never changes. Streamers are humans. Entertainers are humans. And Reckful was an amazing, amazing guy. He really was. When I say that Reckful was someone that I truly thought he was unique. He was unique, chat. Very unique guy. You never knew what was going to come out of his mouth. And honestly, that made it fun to hang out with him. A lot of fun to hang out with him because it was like, what the hell is this guy going to say next? It was fun. And I'm glad that I was part of his life. I'm glad that some of our memories are on his YouTube channel or mine or whatever, and I could check and see. I'm glad that, you know, he was there for me my first rag kill, and it was one of the most fun streams I ever had. Chilling with Reckful and playing World of Warcraft was just fun. It was a great time. But I'll never forget how much money he stole from me from... We go to barbecue chicken places and we'd always do fucking card roulette and he would always win somehow because he purposely took he would take out his card that was lighter and my card was heavier. I lost like $3,000 on barbecue chicken and other foods. I aspire to be more like him. Where his ability to not care who you are and just hear you out. Because a lot of times I think streamers, including myself, an ego rises or a feeling of people who it doesn't like. If you don't have some kind of clout or some kind of viewership, then you're beneath. And I aspire to be more like Reckful, where he didn't care. He didn't give a shit. I mean, he talked to fucking Slick. Who the fuck would talk to Slick? Unless you're a blonde chick in the just chatting section, you don't want to talk to Slick. You know? Just crazy he's gone, man. It's crazy. I won't ever forget him, and I don't think the community will ever forget him. He was a great guy. He was. Barry and everybody are coming over. All the people that were close to him are coming here, and we're just gonna chill today. When I went there, everyone was all right. Everyone was okay. I think they're just still in shock. We all are. I mean, but part of me, which can give me closure, as fucked up as this sounds, is to say that I know he's not hurting anymore. Because every time I talked to that guy, he was hurting. Every time. And he's not hurting anymore. He was in pain every day I talked to him. I'm glad he's all right. To anyone who is wondering or worrying about how it happened, it was quick and painless. If that will put you at ease, it was quick and painless. I talked to the police, and they told me that it was instantaneous. So he was not in pain. It was nothing that hurt him. Police arrived very fast, and they just couldn't do anything. By the time we got there, it was already all over. That's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you, guys. I will not be streaming today, as you can assume. I will be gone. I don't want to stream. I'll be back tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. But I think I said everything I said. Goodbye, chat. And thank you, guys. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. And I know a lot of people are saying check on your friends and do that kind of stuff. You should check on your friends, but check on yourself as well. It's rough. Get off the internet. Do something with your life. All right. Go figure something out. Don't just sit here and... He wouldn't want that. He would not want you to just sit here and be sad. Go figure something out. Go do something. Go take some pictures. Go live life. All right? So, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, boys.